Hello, dear friends. Despite all the signs pointing to a hot spring and experts saying that this financial system cannot take away more weeks, the Operation Disclosure intelligence report has thrown cold water on the fact that we are not yet ready. This is a fallacy in my view, but I will lay out the arguments before rebutting them. Opinion piece. Are we ready? It all depends on people waking up. Critical mass has not yet been reached. People do not realize that they are sheep. Fear keeps the population paralyzed. When they realize it, they will stand up for their rights. Premature intubation would be misinterpreted. A quarter of humankind needs to wake up. The more people wake up, the closer we are to the event. Elon Musk posted an image on Twitter of a UFO on Mars. Let's start. The coalition will publicly begin cleanup operations on the surface when enough people awaken to fully understand what is going on. In case of premature intubation, exactly the same thing would happen as happened in Myanmar, the former Burma, which people have interpreted as an evil military coup d'etat, even though the overthrown government was totally corrupt and trafficked in unmentionable goods. That doesn't mean that the coalition will sit idly by, but will continue to work in secret as it has been doing for some time. Two events are required to begin the open implementation of Gisara's program, but these events cannot take place until the Great Awakening is completed. The more people awaken, the more progress will be made towards the implementation of Gisara. As much as it pains us, sufficient critical mass has not yet been reached to begin operations in public eye, because most people are still trapped in fear. The Great Awakening is a term coined by the Round Letter to suggest that the general human population is waking up during this period of time to the fact that the power structures have deliberately kept them tamed and controlled like sheep. The goal is to awaken the world's population to the massive corruption and criminal syndicate conglomerates made up of part of the global elite. This coalition is working behind the scenes to shed light on what we do not see on the surface. Once enough people are awakened, cleanup operation will begin on the surface. Apparently, a quarter of awakened humanity is needed before they begin, in order to avoid too much cognitive dissonance. The regressive dark side has been preparing for decades a plan to prevent the ascension of the human being, and to achieve, or rather consolidate, its dominance over humankind throughout wars and destructions, forced migration leading to destruction of culture, and civil violence, manipulation of the population to sow and whip up conflicts around gender, sexuality, ethnicity, nationality, religion, and other factors, so as to generate distrust, hatred, and violence, keeping everyone busy destroying the family and the social fabric. The next step would be the establishment of a world government, authoritarian, and probably population reduction, but I think they will fail. Vicious circle. Although this reasoning seems impeccable, my personal opinion is that this is like an Ouroboros, that is, like a snake beating its own tail, or like a vicious cycle of reasoning. If we reason that for major visible events to occur, people have to wake up first, how are they going to wake up if they don't see the events? People need to see evidence, not arguments, to realize what is going on. If they hide the evidence, how are they going to realize it? I think this is a two-way street. Facts wake us up, and our awakening causes events. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? This resembles the fallacy of those who say that everything is internal and not external. But internal changes bring about external changes, and in turn, external changes bring about internal changes, unless the person is totally numb and doesn't know the half of it or doesn't want to know it, so he doesn't have to bother to think. Intelligence Alert. This is a summary of the Operation Disclosure Intelligence Alert of Wednesday, March 24th, which I reproduce verbatim in its entirety. First, 2 events are required to begin GSAR application. Second, an event that will render the current global financial system obsolete to force the worldwide public and official implementation of the quantum financial system. Third, a second event that will activate the US military to begin mass arrests of corrupt officials, which will be followed by the rest of the world. Fourth, when both of these events occur, the implementation of the GSAR program can begin. Fifth, however, these events cannot take place until the Great Awakening is completed. Sixth, the goal is to awaken the world's population from the massive corruption and criminal syndicate conglomerates composed of some of the world's elite, who have been given many monikers in the past. Seventh, the most recent popular nicknames are Cabal or Deep State. Eighth, the more people awaken, the more progress will be made toward the implementation of this program. Ninth, meanwhile, the Earth Alliance is working behind the scenes to clarify what we do not see on the surface. 10th, once enough people are awakened, cleanup operation will begin on the surface, although they have long since begun in secret. News in brief, or short news. Philippines send fighter jets over Chinese vessels in South China Sea. The Philippine military is sending light fighter jets to fly over hundreds of Chinese vessels in disputed waters in the south of China Sea. Its defense minister said, repeating his demand that the flotilla be withdrawn immediately. International concern is growing over what the Philippines has described as wary and menacing presence of more than 200 Chinese vessels, which Manila believes are named by maritime militias. The ships are moored at Whitsun Reef, within Manila's 200-mile exclusive economic zone. Another attempt to free the cargo ship stranded in the Suez Canal fails, and they will try on again at high tide. Egypt's president orders to start preparations to unload the stranded ship. If the vessel cannot be freed in the Suez Canal, work to free the cargo ship continues to 24 hours a day. The draggers have moved 27,000 cubic meters of sand and have reached a depth of 18 meters. The president of Egypt, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, ordered to make preparations and proceed with the unloading of the container ship MV Ever Given, stranded since Tuesday in the Suez Canal. The operation will be launched if the vessel cannot be released, the official said. Several ships begin to debate 2 alternative routes instead of waiting for the Suez Canal to be unblocked. The French shipping and container shipping company CMA ZGME Group announced Saturday that it has diverted the route of two of its ships to the Cape of Good Hope to avoid having to wait for it to be possible to navigate the Suez Canal, blocked since Tuesday after the big ship ran aground in one of its narrowest sections, preventing passage in both directions. Europe could soon run out of instant coffee if the Suez Canal remains blocked. Containers of Robusta coffee, the type used by Nescafé to produce instant coffee, are among those paralyzed in this important waterway, throughout which some 12% of global trade in goods passes. Europe is already among the regions most affected by the blockage of the Suez Canal, since all the coffee that the continent imports from East Africa and Asia arrives through it. Closures on major world trade routes. Europe's busiest freight train route connecting Genova and Rotterdam will not be able to resume operations until April, after a massive rock slide shocked the tracks in the Rhine Gorge, a World Heritage Site in Germany. Other news. Israel cuts Jordan's water supply. Already in trouble with Jordan, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu escalated tensions with his country's closest Arab ally on Friday by unilaterally rejecting its request to increase water supplies to the drought-stricken kingdom. China imposes new sanctions against US and Canada. China has imposed sanctions against 3 individuals and 1 entity in the US and Canada in response to restrictions that Washington and Ottawa introduced against Beijing over human rights abuses in the Xinjiang region. Pakistan successfully tests nuclear-capable ballistic missile with 900 kilometers range. Pakistan's military says it conducted a successful test of its nuclear-capable Shaheen-1A ballistic missile on Friday in a show of military strength amid tense relations with India over Kashmir. Plastic cuts will disappear in 10 years. Plastic bank cuts will most likely disappear in the next 10 years, predicted the head of the Visa International Payment System in Russia, Mikhail Berner. The world is crazy. First they invoke Aztec gods of war. Now it's Satan snakers with human blood. Are they right in the head, of have they lost their minds? California is now making kids worship Aztec gods of human sacrifice, and there is a viral campaign for custom $1,000 Satan snakers. Some 660 supposedly lucky Americans will be able to buy Satan shoes, a double-themed modification of Nike's 1997 Air Max sneakers on March 29. The air bubble inside will be filled with red ink and a drop of human blood, according to a promotional tweet that went viral Friday. One man uses his cell phone while filling up his car at a gas station and causes a fire. In Guanajuato, Mexico, a man caused fire at the gas station by using his cell phone. While refueling his truck, he was holding a cell phone in his hand, which is presumed to have caused a spark that in a matter of seconds triggered the flames. The subject was unharmed, but the fire consumed part of his vehicle, and the firefighters had to be called in. Authorities have reiterated the importance of avoiding the use of telephones at gas stations to avoid this sort of accidents. New wind turbines, which operate by vibration, are quieter, more economical, and have a lower environmental impact, have been invented in Spain. With the help of European funds, the Spanish startup Vortex is developing these bladeless turbines, which will go into production in 2021. Spanish archaeologists discover part of the lost temple of Pharaoh Ptolemy I. A group of archaeologists found the remains of a temple built during the reign of Pharaoh Ptolemy I. The discovery is of great importance for archaeological research. The discovery is of great importance for archaeology because it could shed more information about the building and its area. Indonesian volcano Merapi erupts again. Indonesia's most volatile volcano erupted again on Saturday, sweeping a cloud of ash as well as rivers of lava and solid materials down its slopes. There are no reports of casualty. A supermoon appears in the sky today, Sunday. The closest approach of the natural satellite in 2021 is expected today, Sunday, May 28. The full moon will appear in front of the Sun at Earth longitude at 1848 UTC time this Sunday. It will be visible for approximately 3 days. The distance between the natural satellite and our planet will be more than 90% of its closest approach to this month's phenomenon can be defined as a supermoon. Apart from March, supermoons are expected in April, May and June. Elon Musk posts image on Twitter showing a UFO on Mars. Elon Musk tweeted Thursday an image of Mars taken by NASA's Perseverance rover showing footprints left by the robotic vehicle on the surface of the red planet. A Mars rover looking back, Musk wrote in the tweet posted on March 25. At first, it is an image like many others, except that on the horizon there is a small black dot above the mountains on the right side of the image. What Musk didn't expect or did not expect was the snapshot captured by the Perseverance rover would cause a stir on social networks. There were many who detected the anomaly and pointed out that the SpaceX co-founder has published the image with the intention of revealing the truth, the existence of an extraterrestrial civilization on the red planet and even a colony of human beings. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends, and have a good Sunday.